Today we are checking out the major update for Flashpoint campaign's Southern Storm. It's called the Thanksgiving update. It includes 4 new scenarios, as well as a major update to the Standard Operating Procedure, or SOPs. I'm going to go in depth into the new SOP changes, as well as a few other changes. Obviously there are bug fixes. We're going to kind of visit and talk a little bit about the scenarios. They are Canadian and French. So let's go over here. This is the second major update to include content for Southern Storm that's absolutely free. So that's actually pretty cool, and I believe the last content was Canadian as well. The scenario we're going to be playing is high sticking. The free scenarios you get are high sticking, breakaway, and then under the French you get the necker line, as well as once more unto the breach. I'm not sure why breakaway shows under the French, but that's perfectly fine. So if we click the Canadians, we can kind of see what's going on right here. It's in Nagluk, Germany, Canadian versus West Germany. Oh, that's the wrong one. High sticking, it is in Forskum, Germany, Canadian versus Czechoslovakia forces. And these do come with like very detailed descriptions. We're going to hit proceed. It's going to bring us into these next couple of missions. And with each new scenario, obviously you get battle plans, 3, and they can be random. So we're going to dive right on in, and we're going to go really in depth to this new update. So if you've never seen Flashpoint campaigns in Southern Storm before, it is on sale right now, and if it does sound interesting to you, head on over to the Slytherin store. It's 40% off, so $35.99 USD. I'll include the link in the description. So it's really important for you to read these things as they pop up, and as you play it more, you kind of get like into a rhythm of it. So it tells us our scenario briefing, it tells us our victory status and conditions, and then all of these you can obviously print depending on how hardcore you are. You can hit proceed. And then you're kind of presented with this battle. They've updated the way the zoom works, so it should now default if you're new to the game. If you're not new to the game, you'll need to change the adjustments in the menu. But as of right now, like if you scroll back, it zooms in. If you push forward, it zooms out. It feels kind of natural because I play Southern Storm quite frequently, but I believe that's backwards. Anyway, so obviously we have all our units. So the first thing we're going to take a look at are these tanks. These are, I believe, oh, I clicked too fast. Leopard C Charlie 1 Alpha 1 main battle tank. So what we're going to talk about briefly is our maximum range, which is a 5,000 meter range. Now why I want to talk about that is our new button, this SOP. So we have this SOP setup, or set SOP, adjust SOP, and then obviously the SOP Manager. So before, this is the only way you can manage your standard operating procedures. You can apply it to all the units. It kind of tells you all about the standard operating procedure system, but it's a very menu heavy, kind of unimmersive way for you to kind of interact with your forces. So they've improved that a lot, and this is kind of one of the core like tenets or foundations to Flashpoint campaign Southern Storm, is how you manage your battle plan is with the SOP Manager. And so this is actually a really cool mechanic. So the way they've changed it, it really allows you to get onboarded a lot easier, instead of just kind of getting presented with this menu and then just kind of clicking through like, oh, I don't really know what I want to do with this. So let's close this out, and let's just right click one of these units. So if we hold shift and we select 3 of our main battle tanks right there. So if you see that little yellow L, that means we've selected 3 main battle tanks, leopards. And we come over here, we right click, and we say set SOP. When we set this SOP, we have tons of presets we can click on, and it kind of just does that easy work for us. But that's not all. Like, these presets are just really basic. Let's say we just want to assault. A menu is going to pop up. It's going to ask you what units you want to assault, and you can actually mix and match these. So if we say cancel and we just add just like a random vehicle right here, let me click on these. We say tank, random APC, and we come over here and we say set SOP tank, sit and observe, or assault. It will include all our vehicles, and we can just say no, we accidentally clicked that one, we don't want to include that SOP onto that infantry fighting vehicle. So up here at the top, it'll say select unselect units that you want for the tank assault SOP preset. The preset is accept heavy losses, don't relocate, no standoff, fire at maximum range, no movement preferences. So obviously accept heavy losses is really straightforward. The tanks are going to accept getting blown up. Don't relocate, so when they come under heavy fire, or if they're fighting from a position, say like right here on this hillside, they will not relocate. No standoff means they're not going to fire at their maximum range, but they are going to fire at their maximum range, but they're not going to stay at that range. So they'll just continue to fire even as the unit approaches, and then obviously fire at max range, which is 5,000 meters, and no movement preferences. I'm a little confused on these two. I'm not gonna lie. So let's hit proceed. So now when we right click one of our tanks and we go to SOP Manager, you can see that it has a slight tactical initiative. It says they accept substantial losses. I don't know why they're using different words for why they're like varying up the way they want to do this, like accept heavy losses, and then over here it says substantial. I would just say substantial. I wouldn't mix and match like that. I would just say heavy losses or accept substantial losses. Don't just use two different words. That's all. That was just like a brief intervention right there. And then obviously direct fire, discipline fire at maximum range, relocate never, all requesting units, movement, avoid nuclear, biological, chemical. Minefield breach, you can change this in stride breach. I need to go into the manual to really discuss that. Ignore and run, which means they'll probably just blow through it, and then stop and reduce. And then tactical initiative slight. So you can actually apply that to all the units type before, or just apply this to apply this and later unit orders. Apply to this and later unit orders. Alright, so that's just like a brief introduction right there. So then what we can do, so this is the really cool part. So I kind of just showed you the really basic part. So if you didn't want to hit Control K, or if you didn't want to use the SOP Manager, what you can do is you can just adjust it. You can just say acceptable losses, I only want minimal. We're going to apply it to that one. And then you can kind of go in here and you go preferred fire range. You're like, okay, well, I kind of only want him to engage at 4,000 meters. And like this is like click heavy, like, but I mean, you're not gonna do it this way. This is just to kind of onboard you with everything. It's gonna say all these other things. We can just say preferred standoff range, fire discipline, hold fire, refuse to fire, short range, medium range, max range. Minefield contact, we can even do minefield. We can say ignore and run. And then if we right click these units, we go into SOP Manager. It adjusts and updates all of this. So then if we're like, oh, this doesn't work, we're going to go do or die. We're going to say generous tactical initiative. We're going to say direct fire discipline, point blank, 1 hex, which is like 500 meters, medium range. And then relocate after each fire mission. And so you can kind of just go back and forth and just set all these units. And like you don't have to just do that for one unit, but I was just doing that. But this actually gives you a bit more control and a bit more, agency as to how things, like right here, it gives you a bit more agency when it says preferred standoff range. It can kind of give you 1,000, 5,000. It can give you more agency with fire discipline, and then with your losses, relocate. Like this relocate after each fire mission is really cool, or relocate when the enemy's spotted. You can do that with your recon units. So if we can find that over here, concealment, ignore and run, transport, support passengers. I'm looking for the relocate option. You don't really have a way to do some of those SOPs like this, so it's really cool that that's something that's been included. I'm like looking for it right now. I could have swore it was something that was in here. But you get a lot more agency now with this new update. So if we go adjust SOP, we can say, oh cool, relocate after each fire mission, after all fire missions when enemy is spotted. And that may be more of an artillery. Let's see what our artillery ones look like. Set SOP, we're going to take a look at artillery. We're going to say scoot and shoot, which means relocate after every fire mission, long range standoff, large initiative, avoid losses. So if we come over here, your SOP manager is probably going to be different. Yeah, so it's just different. I wonder what the agency is. If I tell this unit after each fire mission, I wonder if it's actually going to do anything. Because relocate, no, you can. Alright, so I can see it. I was just blind before. Okay, that's really cool. I don't know why I wasn't seeing that, but I do feel like there's more agency with the, right here, the standoff range. So that's the preferred, or one of the new things. Something else I want to talk about are these legged units. If we zoom, yeah, it's backwards because I just tried to zoom in going the other way. Alright, so this L means it's a legged unit. So when this L turns, let's go subunit inspector. When that L turns orange, it means that the transports have been damaged and they're no longer mobile, I believe. If I remember correctly, that's exactly what that means. So it means like the transports have been damaged and that they're no longer mobile. Beyond like the scrolls being changed, the agency, a lot of these updates, that I'm really happy with the new SOP manager and I'm excited to check it out. I'm also excited to play through some of these scenarios. If you want to see these scenarios played live, make sure you have all notifications turned on because we stream here fairly frequently. And it looks like some changes. I mean, obviously there's tons of quality of life changes that have been fixed. There's all kinds of bug fixes that have been fixed. There's known issues they're currently working on. And this game does have a DLC coming out, I believe, in January. I'm gonna scroll the thing real quick, see if I notice anything that I didn't talk about. The lost transport indicator, so that L, another quality of life addition to the unit counter, is the lost transport indicator. When a unit slash mechanized or motorized vehicles and squads and teams can no longer move its troops due to losses of transport subunits, the leg indicator, or the L, turns orange to note this condition. This helps to show the difference between a dismounted unit that shows the L indicator when the troops are out of the transports and the non-movement order. Major update. Major update. I totally forgot that they updated all of the firing lines. So when a unit gets in contact now, you get new animations. So like the machine gun fire is going to be like that solid blue that it was before. The anti-tanks are going to have squiggly lines, and this is kind of going to make it a bit more immersive for you. They'll just be squiggly, meaning it's supposed to like simulate that it's the blast that is tracking the shooter or trying to lock onto the shooter. The autocannon gets a new update. These narrow, semi-transparent straight lines of vapor trails from the shooter target shoot 3 colored projectiles. So hopefully we can see that on stream and see what that looks like. There's also a new surface-to-air missile, SAM animation, and fire lines, colors, and scalings. So yeah, there's a bunch of new units. They've also fixed some swimming issues. All new SOPs have presets. I'm excited to see all those new animations in action. And then yeah, just check out the game if you haven't already. It's probably one of the best serious war games out there. Super accessible now, especially with that new SOP manager. Yeah, sorry guys, no gameplay. We're just talking updates. Peace.